Howard Hewett stumps his toe. What do you
Oh.
say? Oh, no. I thought you were going to say amen.
Oh, no.
Get ready for the LaDonna Ray Show for exclusive interviews right here. Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet.
Is it Sugar Ray?
Nah.
Lisa Ray?
No.
D Ray? No.
It's time for
The LaDonna Ray Show.
I'm so shy.
The one and only sexy mama, LaDonna Ray. Welcome to the LaDonna Ray Show.
Hey, what's happening? You're watching the LaDonna Ray Show, and I am your host, LaDonna Ray. You know we talk to those content creators, but sometimes content creators have to lean back and listen to the people that have actually paved the way. And when I say paved the way, I'm talking about say amen. Well, you know, that's what they know about in the past. We got some new stuff, Mr. Howard Hewett.
I'm going to take you out on the road with me. You can introduce me anywhere I go, everywhere I go. Your introduction is perfect.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You are an inspiration to many, Howard. And I just want to say thank you to you now in life, right now, so you can hear it while we're still here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Definitely.
So are you ready for the holidays? Because someone told me and sent me and played for me this beautiful song about children singing and laughing.
That's Christmas. That was actually a song that George Duke and I wrote together, and he produced it before he passed away. I mean, it's depicting, you know, all the different emotions as far as, like, you know, the holiday season and everything is concerned. And you know, I'm glad people really dug it, are really digging it, and the video as well. There's a video on this that's released with it as well. So
yeah. And speaking of videos, you are going into the spiritual realm of music and kind of like focusing on this new joint that you have called To Thee I Pray.
Yeah.
That video is very touching. You have to warn people. You have to say, okay, warning, tissue warning. Okay, tissue.
You know what?
Warning.
But what's a trip with that song though, LaDonna, is that, you know, I wrote that song actually 30 plus years ago, you know, and you can check out the original version of it on the Allegiance album, the last album I did with Elektra Records. And but I took it to this writing team. They're called Wave 3 Pop, and two young cats out of Houston, Texas, and they did a flip. They did a flip on the track, you know, but the lyrics and the melody are basically the same as they were 30 plus years ago. Unfortunately, the lyrics still ring true today, you know, and you know, it's a call for us to really examine ourselves, examine how we're treating each other, examine how we relate to each other. I mean, we just came out of a 4-year administration that thrived on divisiveness and keeping us apart from each other. I mean, we've always had our differences and all that, but it was never, ever as deep as it is now. And that's because of the leadership or the absence of leadership that we had, you know, in the beginning, those whole 4 years. The only thing that came out of the White House was negativity, was divisiveness and that kind of stuff. So, you know, To Thee I Pray is basically, you know, calling for us to examine the way that we treat each other. I mean, my rule of thumb for myself through the years has always been, you know, I treat people the way I would want to be treated. And I think if most people would, you know, deal with it on that premise, we would have, you know, so much less craziness in this world.
How hard is it for you to stay away from political views publicly? Because I know being an artist such as yourself, people are looking to you and wanting to know what do you have to say about this, that, and the other, whether it be through verbal expression or even in your music. How difficult is it to stay away from every single incident?
Well, it's difficult to stay away from it because this is my world, just like it is everybody else's, and I want to see certain things come to fruition as far as my world, our world is concerned. We all know, biblically what the whole deal is as far as this whole thing is concerned. But does that mean that we're not supposed to thrive to make it better? And my example is always, you got the enemy out there too, that's dealing with the thing, and he knows his fate. He knows it better than everybody else knows it. But that doesn't keep him from doing what he is set out to do, which is to gather as many of us as possible and pull us into that bottomless pit that he's headed towards. So it's not too difficult, I should say, to stay away from it as far as my music is concerned. Although, when you have songs like To Thee I Pray and Say Amen and stuff like that, Say Amen is basically a praise song, basically. But, To Thee I Pray is a call, and it is a politically driven type of situation and socially driven type of situation. So it's difficult. It's not difficult to stay away from it as far as talking is concerned, as far as conversation is concerned. I do this thing on my fan page that I started at the beginning of the shut-in, which is called, at first I called it FAC ... in life, which is fresh air, cardio, and that leads to life. But I added an extra C after about a month, because people started coming in, and we started having these conversations and about everything from vaccines to virus to 45 to the previous administration, everything. So I added the C. So it's fresh air, cardio, conversation, ... and all that leads to life, which is, it's important, because in the beginning, I still don't understand why they have not pushed even more so during this virus, the importance of keeping your immune system built up, the importance of vitamin D, getting your vitamin D. The best source of vitamin D is from the sun.
Hold up. You said you don't know why. I got to interrupt you, Howard. You know why? It's that money.
I know, exactly. Exactly, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be as like, whatever is possible. But yeah, it's always about money. It's always about money. So, so they're not going to push the therapeutics that much right now. They're not going to push, the importance of keeping your immune system built up. But like, that's what the premise of FACC ... and life was. It is rather. I started out in the beginning of the pandemic, and we're continuing it now.
I'm so super proud of you. And, I grew, obviously a lot of us grew up listening to songs from even when you were with Shalamar and with Jody Watley and so on. The songs that you've put out, they have evolved. Wouldn't you say? Because we start out saying, hey, make that move. But now it's about real stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm still jamming to make that move. I'm sorry. And second time around and say, man, as a matter of fact, I don't have a voice right now because we had a sing-off earlier today when I said I was going to be speaking to Howard Hewett, and it turned into a say amen sing-off. I'll give you a little bit of it. Maybe not. I'm gonna leave that to you, Howard. You did it best. You do it best. And even in your new music, there's so much opportunity for you to reach the masses with your influence and your sound. And I'm so grateful that we have people like you in the industry, because that is exactly what you're doing. You're using your influence to reach the masses and say, look, keep your body straight and tight. Apparently, Howard been doing that. You look the same. I'm
Thank you
starting to
very
wonder
much.
if you're a vampire. I don't know what's going on over there. But
Water, drink water, plenty of water, definitely. Definitely. Yep,
gotcha.
there you go.
Gotcha. Along with that, the new music. We're addressing what is going on politically and in our community. A lot of times, I know you're saying it's going on more now than ever. We are more exposed to it now than ever because of
Yeah.
social media. But what are people doing with that? You're taking it to the next level.
Yeah, it's important that you use your platform, whether you have a platform of 10 people, 10,000 people, 10 million people, it doesn't matter. Because if you can influence the whole thing of thinking, I'm about critically thinking. You know, it's like you have to look at things with your third eye. You have to hear things with your third ear, not just what's on there or what you see written in the newspaper or what you see on TV, what you hear on these talk shows or whatever, but think and listen and watch with that third ear, that third eye, and that third tier of understanding, because you know there's all kind of underlying things that are going on, and you have to be astute enough to really pick out the certain, you know, words that will spark that whole understanding of what's really going on. You know, what's really happening, what's really going on as far as, like, you know, January 6th was concerned, what's really going on as far as, like, you know, the previous administration, what they were trying to achieve, and what they and how close we came to losing something that we've worked for so many years, which is democracy. And we can say that, you know, as Black people, well, democracy doesn't work for us. Oh yeah, it does. And we can make it work more if we are more astute in what's happening, and if we figure out, you know, how to position ourselves in certain ways that we can be effective in the change that can go on in this country.
That part right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are you running for president?
No. People say, "Oh, you should run for political office or something." I say, "No." Then they'll say, "Oh, you got a lot of skeletons in your closet," and I tell them, "I ain't got skeletons in my closet. I got undecomposed bodies that are still kind of writhing around in there. So I don't need to be putting that out there as far as, like, you know, they tear me apart in the political situation. I wouldn't want to achieve power in that way. Anyway,
Right.
my power comes from God, and that's what I thrive on."
I feel that. And I want to go back to, I just want to go back to the part or the point in your life when you went from secular music more into the spiritual realm. Did people kind of give you pushback when you decided to kind of flip the switch?
Well, you know, I really look at that sometimes when people ask me about, you know, secular music, and am I still going to do secular music, or am I going to do inspirational music? And one of the things, the first time I was asked that was years and years ago, and I looked at the cat and I said, you know, I've really never done secular music in my career. You know, I've never done secular music before. And he says, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, secular basically, if you look it up, secular basically means without God. And I've never done anything without God. Even for the loving you has a spiritual situation in it that you can grasp on in it. For the loving, for once, twice, three times is a spiritual thing. I was raised up in a house full of women. I have four older sisters. They're all my sisters were older than me, and my mom. And for about 2 years, you know, 3 years before my younger brother came, it was just me and my dad were, you know, representing the testosterone in the house, you know. So it was like, you know, but with that, it was always a conscientious thing to me to make sure that things that I said weren't things that were, embarrassing to my mom, especially, or, nothing, something that my sisters couldn't be proud to talk to say, well, this is my brother, so I've always thought about that. And I've never really done secular, like I said, secular music in my career, because everything has been, with that spirituality, with that spiritual situation. I believe our spiritual essence, and spirituality is a lot different than religion, as you probably know. I'm not a religious person. They ran those planes into the World Trade Center in the name of religion. So I'm about spirituality. I'm about a relationship, and if you try and take like say if I went outside of my house and I grabbed a plant and pulled it up out of the ground and put it on the sidewalk, after a few days, that plant's going to start drying up. It's going to start shriveling up, and eventually it's going to die and shrivel and blow away. And that's the same situation as far as us and our spirituality is concerned. If we try and do this thing without our spirituality in whatever we do, our spirituality is our essence. When you pulled that plant out of the ground, you took it out of its essence. And so it's like, and it can't survive out of that essence. And our spiritualism and our relationship with God is our very essence. So everything that I've done, as far as there was no transition from R&B music into inspirational music, which I call Say Amen. I don't call Say Amen gospel. I call it inspirational, because gospel, I come from gospel music. Gospel is a whole nother thing. Gospel is Shirley Caesar, James Cleveland, Albertina Walker, the Caravans, Pilgrim Jubilees, Soul Stirrers, Violinaires. That's gospel. And I have mad respect for gospel, because that was my foundation. So, but with the inspirational music, to me there was no difference between what I was saying, in my R&B music and what I'm saying in my inspirational music. It's all about, everything is about God.
I love it. And the general public, your fans, radio listeners, they wouldn't put two and two together. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Listen to the music and all we hear is, oh, that's that jam. We're not connecting and saying, well, you know what? Maybe we can play this in that type of setting. But if they knew what you just told me now, they would hear it with a different ear. I'll never forget Yolanda Adams, her song. I mean, it could be either way. You know what I'm saying? It was just amazing. BB and CeCe Winans, same thing. These songs played on Sunday morning in my mother's home when we were cleaning up. But I'm just gonna tell you, when your song came on, we lost it. The broom became the microphone. It was, the vacuum cleaner had to stop, and everybody just joined in on Say Amen. But now we have something new, To Thee I Pray, and we need something like this now more than ever. And I just want to say I am super happy and excited to go ahead and present To Thee I Pray, even to our audience and beyond.
Enjoy.
Warn people. You have to say, okay, warning, tissue warning. Okay, tissue.
You know what?
I just want to say thank you. I feel like I have a friend in you, and I am so excited to be in this interview with you. And thank you so much for presenting us with your new song. This is so amazing. I want you guys run out. Well, actually, we don't have to do that anymore, do we? I'm telling my age, okay?
Run to your computer.
Yeah. Get to your computer, your phone, all of that stuff. And I want you to look for To Thee I Pray. And look for it under Howard Hewett, and you will be amazed. Also on YouTube, I saw the video. It is like I told you, I was in tears. I had to touch it up. But you touched on a lot of things. Breonna Taylor, it's just a lot going on, and there's a lot going on. and you said, I'm going to put this and bring it to the forefront. Keep making music. I don't want to see you sitting down for anything if you can help it. We got to hear your voice. Whether you're a public speaker or speaking in schools or to the masses, they have to hear what I heard today. I feel a connection. You're glowing, and it's because I kind of feel that you are at a peaceful place in your life.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Wow, we just had the legendary Howard Hewett on the LaDonna Ray Show. Man, oh man. And not just man, but say amen, because you have to get his new joint, which is called To Thee I Pray. And he's got a new music single out as well. He is amazing and spiritual. Who would have thunk? Of course you thought so. So I tried to sing for him. Me. And it didn't come out. It didn't happen, but that's okay. But you know what you do here on the LaDonna Ray Show. We talk to those content creators and legendary content creators as well. Please tune in. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Each and every week, we are dropping new videos, which are new interviews. That's right. Some people you know, and some people you don't know, or some people you need to get to know. That's what's up. I'll see you next time on the LaDonna Ray Show. Bye-bye for now. Peace.